the situation. We are obviously very interested in how it will play out, and when the time comes for the party to, be more definitive and more explicit on the matter, we will certainly do so. In the meantime, we continue to discuss, we continue to engage, on the subject, and preparing ourselves for any eventuality. Whether, if the no confidence motion is debated in Parliament, to debate it in the National Assembly. If local government elections takes precedence, we prepare for local government elections. If it comes to general elections, we prepare for general elections. So it's a very dynamic process. We have to be very flexible, very nimble politically in this situation. You see, we are not, if you notice, the PPP is distinct from the two other parties. We have not dug ourselves in a hole to say it's either this or that. The AFC is in a hole with the no confidence motion. The APNU is in a hole in respect to local government elections. The PPP is much more flexible and, keeping a...
Before you continue, young lady would be sitting for the longest.
Would the PPP be in agreement for the, let's say, no confidence motion is debated?
With the PPP what?
Would the party be in agreement for the motion to be debated on the first day of parliamentary junction? And secondly...
Agreement with whom?
Just, would you agree for the motion?
No, but there has to be, agreement implies you got to be in agreement with somebody.
The other parliamentary parties.
With the other parliamentary political parties?
Yes.
We have never had a discussion on that matter.
But would you want that to happen? Would you want that the matter to be dealt with on the first day of parliament consumption?
Well, I understand that the Speaker and the Clerk are working out the modalities, and there have been some mixed signals on this matter. Mr. Granger is saying one thing, the Speaker is saying another thing. We haven't heard from the Clerk as yet. I think the key man on this matter will be the Clerk, and then the two Chief Whips have to also have their say on the subject. So it's not so much a matter of what I would like to see happen. It's what the process requires and what the standing orders require. So it's not so much what I would like to see. Let us have more confidence and faith in the process of consultations and what the standing order allows for. Based on that, we will be guided.
Just secondly, would the Philippines now be in a position to say who is going to be the party's presidential candidate at the next election?
Well, I've spoken about this thing before, and I don't want to keep the pot boiling on this as they keep Starbuck News engaged on this matter. And the most I could do is repeat what I said before, which was published in the same Starbuck News. So when that time comes, we will, have more to say on it. Right now, that's not a matter that is engaging us. What is engaging us now is the question of the process that is unfolding vis-a-vis elections, local government general, no confidence motion.
Minister Rory, do you know that date has been set for the first sitting, and also the AFC had named October 16th as a date for the debate of the motion? Could you confirm?
No, I can't confirm that, but I saw some rather contradictory statements from Mr. Ramjatan himself. He's saying that he would like to see it on the first, he would like to see this motion debated on the first day of the sitting of Parliament. On the other hand, he's saying that that can only happen based on consultations with the other political parties. And then on the third hand, if he has that, because he seems to have many hands in many pots, on the third hand, he's saying that he is relying on what the standing orders say. So, I'm not so sure whether these individuals, know what tools they should use to guide them. And, as Adam said, people have a tendency, excluding the PPP, of throwing things out there to see if it will stick, whether it has any validity or whatever the case might be. So he's one of the, The people showing things out there too.
Vina Robert, Kaiser News. Mr. Rowley, you said that the motion, the no confidence motion seems to be in a limbo. Just last week, APNU
I said that what?
seems to be in limbo. I
Oh.
wrote it down, so I remember hearing that word.
Yes, I know what I said. Seem to be in limbo, yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Just last week, APNU and AFC had a meeting at the leader of the opposition office, and they agreed that they're holding one head on the no confidence motion.
Mhm.
This was publicized. Now, what is signaling to you that the bill is in limbo?
My political sense tells me that is in political limbo,
Okay.
you know, based on information received from different quarters, the media, you know, press conferences, so many other things, you know, that my political sense, you know, tells me,
Six
you know,
cents?
there's something that is called, I wouldn't want to say that here, but, you know, there's something that's called gut feeling. And politicians usually have a gut feeling about things. And sometimes it turns out to be right, especially if they're in touch with the, you know, people. So that's what tells me that.
Final question, Mr. Early. So, Mr. Campbell here brought up,
Mr. Who?
Campbell, Kurt Campbell of INEW.
Oh, I never knew he was Kurt Campbell. I know, I see his face here all the time, but I don't know that he's Kurt Campbell.
Mr. Kurt
In the sense, I've
Campbell.
never been formally introduced to him, but I've seen him around. I'm not a square.
Yes, Mr. Early.
Mm.
It's clear in the area. You want to know correct assassination. Anyway, so Mr. Kurt Campbell, this young man over here, raised a question and about the media monitoring stuff, and then you alluded to Kaiser News.
Yes.
Then Mr. Harris raised another issue, and again you alluded to Kaiser News. It seems like all these things, you're linking it to the things that Kaiser News does. Would this mean
No, I keep
you
saying a
have-
section of the media.
No, you
If
said Kaiser News.
I
have
did
a
say,
record of-
no, I did say Kaiser News, but I also said a section of the media.
Oh, Mr. Roy, I could recall.
Kaiser News is only a component of that section of the media.
Okay,
All right.
Mr. Roy, but I'm trying to find out if it is that you have some kind of grievance with Kaiser News
Me,
specifically.
I'm a politician. In fact, I think Kaiser News got a grievance with me. I think Kaiser News got a grievance with me. And they have a grievance with me because I'm a minister in the government.
Okay, but you don't have.
If I was a private individual, I probably wouldn't have, Kaiser News probably wouldn't have bat an eyelid about Clement Rohi.
Okay.
But because I'm a minister of this government, who the Kaiser News has a problem with, you see, and because of a number of other considerations which I won't want to explain here this afternoon or this morning, you know, I believe that Kaiser News has a problem with almost all the government ministers. I don't know one which Kaiser News don't have a problem with. Maybe
You
there's
personally don't have a problem with Kaiser News.
with Kaiser News.
Yeah.
If of course I have a problem with Kaiser News. Of course I have a problem with Kaiser News. My problem with Kaiser News is the consistent attacks on the government. Let me give one
But you
example.
say that these are unfounded.
They are unfounded. Most of them are unfounded. You're taping that. You know, there have been two significant activities over the past 2 weeks. One was Prison Service Week. Now, the Guyana Prison Service is an organization I hold very dear to me because they perform very, very important and serious service to the Guyanese people. Holding prisoners that is sent to prison, either on remand or on a sentence through the court, is a very important task and responsibility. A prison break takes place, hits the front page, and people write about it every day because it's a sexy matter to write about. Today's Kaiser News, I think I saw something somewhere, or on the iNews or somewhere, where reference is made to an incident with respect to the prisoners. Oh, somebody called me and drew to my attention that there's a story in the Kaiser News concerning the prisons. So I asked them to tell me what it was about. And it was about prisoners lighting a mattress in the prison. I said, okay, thank you very much. But what I found interesting was that the same Kaiecho News didn't publish one iota of information about Prison Service Week. Not one thing. Not one thing about Prison Service Week.
No, I don't buy that.
Just a minute, they published an interview with Mr. Granger on the prisons, and they published this negative story, you can call it factual if you want, about what took place in the prison a few days ago, but nothing about Prison Service Week. So where's the objectivity? Where's the objectivity? I mean, where's the balance in the reporting? I am insisting that the prisons are performing yeoman service to this country. And we always say Jack must be given the jack. But if you feel that by publishing what these people are doing, you're putting the government in a good light, well, that's political. And if you feel that by publishing prisoners lighting mattresses in prison is putting the government in a bad light, and you should publish it, that's political too. So where's the objectivity? Where's the balance in the reporting? I feel that in the same way you publish that a prison light a mattress in the prison, I don't have a problem with that. But you should also say something about what the prison servants, what the prison officers are doing in this country. We should also do that. The same thing for Fire Prevention Week. This is Fire Prevention Week. How much have we written about what the firefighters are doing in this country? Well, we don't do that. Why? Because we will make the government look good, and we don't want to do anything or publish anything to make the government look good, particularly the Home Affairs Ministry. So, you know, that I have a problem with the Kaiecho News with that. And there are many others I can refer to. Look, we sent out a statement. We sent out a statement on the anniversary of the PPPC in government. Not a word from the Starbuck News or the Kaiecho News. Why? Why?
APNU sent out the anniversary thing and they had a word. So.
I cannot speak for APNU.
But you're speaking for APNU.
I cannot speak for APNU. I am speaking for my party, the PPP, which is the ruling governing party that brought a change in this country in 1992. You can smock at it as much as you want to, but that's a fact. That's a fact. And I saw Kaiecho News publish a front page story asking people to do like Benny King.
Stand by me.
Stand by me. Well, I don't know which version they're talking about, because there are many versions of Stand By Me. But I don't know about the drifters. But I'm saying that for me, I'm not standing by no Kaiecho News, and I think that what Kaiecho News is asking people to do is to stand by them for all the wickedness that they're conducting in this country through the pages of the newspaper. You can see how much oh Lord you want to see. But I'm saying that what the Kaiecho News seem to be calling upon people to do is to stand by all the wickedness they've been carrying out in this country all the time,
AGP, please.
over the years.
Mr. Roy, Arnell Duncan, AGP United News. A quick question. Your party's been on the ground, you know, meeting the grassroots and so on. I would like to know, what are you hearing from the people? Are they satisfied with the current climate as to how things are in the country right now?
What things?
The general climate, people living conditions, work, salaries they're getting, things like that. What are people telling your party as your party move on the ground, meeting the grassroots?
Okay. Generally speaking, because there's the general and the specific. Generally speaking, people are generally satisfied with the way things are going. They're generally satisfied. There's no political harassment of people on the ground compared to what they experienced before 1992. There's nothing like that taking place. They know they have a chance at elections. There's no rigged elections. They're satisfied with that as well, and so many other things. But you know, there will always be specific issues for people. People will always have specific concerns. The road is not fixed in the village. The coca needs to be fixed. The dam needs to be fixed, and so forth. So there will always be problems specific to individuals, and there will always be issues specific to communities. You know, everywhere you go, you will hear all these problems from time to time from people. The thing is that when you sit with people and you explain to them, and I like the way it was reported, I think it was in the Kaichou News the other day. When you sit with people and you explain to them, I said if you sit on the back steps, if you sit in the hammock, if you sit on the veranda, if you sit on the bridge, you know, people like that. You know why? People like to see people come down from the top and listen to what they have to say. The ordinary man feels happy about that. At least he has drawn to their attention to the so-called big ones, right? And you know, I don't personally be in the people. We don't have a problem with that. Dr. Jagan has always taught us that. You know, we need to go down there and ground with the people. But I'm saying that once you go down there and you talk to them, you explain to them why things are not happening the way they would like to see it done, you know, they accept and they have a general understanding of the challenges. But they still look forward to it being done. They still look forward to it being done. So, you know, that's the nature. That's why we say development is a work in progress. We'll never be able to complete everything, but things are happening on the ground. We are addressing the garbage problem. We're fixing a number of roads, community roads, farm to market roads. We're dealing with the drainage and irrigation issues. We are cleaning up the city. I'm so proud as a man from Georgetown when I passed by the cemetery now to see the changes that are taking place there and so on. So things are happening, but like I said, as it concerns the individual and it concerns the community, people will always have issues that they would like to see addressed. But you know, all of this will take time.
And would you say through local government elections, some of these community issues specifics can be addressed?
Yes, of course. Some of these issues could be addressed with local government issues. Some of them could be addressed with general elections. You know, some of them could be addressed even now as we speak, as they're being addressed. So there's no silver bullet, so to speak, in local government elections addressing everything under the sun. You know, because no, well, that's what I'm talking about too. Because you see, it will always be a question of resources. That's the bottom line. Are there available enough resources, even after local government elections are held? You see, to address every single problem. There's not going to be. But at least, you know, we can try to address some of the problems now. We can try to address some of the problems. Well, not we, I mean the people speaking, so to speak. The people generally speaking will be able to address problems after the local government election. They'll be able to address problems even after general election. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Yeah, Mr. Harris.
Yeah, but we can talk about the police thing now.
Yeah.
The Claremont Police Station reported they had no male ranks there, so they couldn't respond to the report of a robbery.
They have no male ranks?
No male, that was what they said.
Who said that?
So, Claremont Police, they had some women there. This was a Chinese robbery on Saturday, I think it was. And ranks had to go from well done. So I was asking you whether it's a norm that we would have police station without any male ranks.
That's not a norm, no, that's not a norm. That's not a norm, and I will have to check that out. The last time you asked me to check out something and get back to you, I was calling you to get back to you, but by the time I could get back to you, you had already published the story in the newspaper.
Which one then?
I ain't see that. You know about it. You would ask me to get the information for you. The what?
Oh, the school children arrested.
Yes, yes. You had already got the scoop. And you didn't wait for me. You published your scoop. Because you thought that I would never get back to you.
No, now that you know you're going to get back to me, my brother, I'm going to wait on you.
Well, once I say I will get back to you, once I utter those words, once I say I will get back to you, I will get back to you. Because I don't want to be dodging you next time you see me and say you're gonna get, I would have gotten back to you, and I never did.
I will go back along. We won't hold it against you in
Okay.
public.
Minister, there continuously reports of persons being robbed on their way home from the CGI and just after reaching
From the where?
From CGI at the airport.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what is being done specifically by the police to address this?
Not
And
specifically.
do you know if these reports are reaching the police?
Yes, they are. People report them. People report them, and people find other ways of getting it in the newspaper. Some people get in the newspaper to embarrass the police, to make the police look bad, inept, and they're not doing a good job, and so forth. But most of these matters are reported to the police. The police obviously set up their operations to try to get to the bottom of it, because I don't think any police force would want always to be looking bad in the eyes of the public and inept and incompetent. So, and I think the Guyana Police Force is one of such forces around the world that would want to come out of that syndrome, and it would make efforts to do so. But, you know, the thing is that these people who probably do those things, they don't respect any rules, they don't respect any laws, while the police, on the other hand, always have to operate on the basis of their standard operating procedures. They have to operate within certain rules of conduct, because if they don't, you know what will happen? There are all kinds of accusations about human rights abuses, the police use excessive force, and so forth. And that's why sometimes the criminals sometimes tend to have the upper hand over the police, because they don't operate within any laws, they don't respect anybody's private property or anything, whatever the case may be, as long as they get their hands on what they are seeking to get. Whereas the police, on the other hand, have to respect, you know, a number of different things before they actually, you know, engage. And that, you know, one might say that that put them at a disadvantage, but, you know, they have to be able to use their standard operating procedures to always be a step ahead of the criminals. But like I said, because the criminals don't have their standard operating procedure is identify a victim, get as much as you could from them fast as possible, and try to escape without being caught. That's their standard operating procedure. So that's the challenge that we have.
Any more questions?
Mr. Loney,
Yes.
are you aware of any developments as it relates to this specialty hospital in terms of getting a new contractor and so on?
As far as I'm aware, this is a matter really for the government, but the government continues to be engaged on the matter. I can't see how far they've gotten since the disclosure by the Attorney General and the HPS. But I would, as a member of cabinet, I know that the government continues to pursue its legitimate interests in respect of the specialty hospital in the context of what Dr. Luncheon has said, and also in the context of what the Attorney General has said publicly on the matter. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You've been very cooperative and very kind this morning to me. Thank you.
What time is
Thank
it,
you.
Governor?
10. Yeah, I know.
Questions? We ask that you identify yourself when asking questions. Thank you very much. Okay, yes.
Thank you. Good morning. The first statement reads as follows. The ongoing frequency of media infractions in Guyana necessitates the establishment of a regulatory body for the media much faster than one could have anticipated. Sections of the media have strayed from the fundamentals of its journalistic norms and practices, and is providing political fodder for the political opposition. The growing infractions bordering on libel, slander, distortions, and character assassinations by sections of the media have in turn contributed to the lowering of our cultural standards. The PPP reiterates its call for the relevant authority to examine the establishment of a media regulatory body to curb the excesses and to make it more accountable, objective, and responsible. It is wrong that every other institution is expected to function utilizing the ideals of professional conduct guided by specific norms and practices. However, the media escapes the scrutiny because of the absence of a formal mechanism to judge its performance, and impose sanctions in cases where there are infractions. While the media plays an important role in society, it should never be mistaken to mean it can do so without inviting the appropriate criticisms and sanctions. The PPP is therefore encouraging the relevant authorities to carefully examine this matter and swiftly move to establish a regulatory body for the media. That's the first statement. The second statement reads as follows. The People's Progressive Party wishes to express its concern over the recent appointment of Mr. Richard Francois as the Public Relations Officer of GECOM. While our party respects the rights and freedom of employment, we believe that given what is known about Mr. Francois' background and political allegiance, we believe the professional and unbiased discharge of his duties could be compromised. Available information indicates that he is openly supportive and sympathetic to the opposition. As such, the PPP believes that his appointment runs counter to GECOM's claims of appointing professionals to fill important positions. We would like to reiterate that such positions must be staffed with apolitical persons. Our party therefore calls on GECOM to explain this appointment in the interest of ensuring fairness and professionalism from the senior officer. The present concern of our party is premised on incidents in the past which resulted in a lack of professionalism and fairness displayed during the 2011 general elections, when some of these quote-unquote professional officers prevented PPP candidates from executing their constitutional duties at some polling stations. One such case was the prevention of Dr. Ashley Singh from entering a polling station while candidates from other parties were allowed. The role of candidates assigned to receive updates from polling agents is enshrined and must be guarded and respected. It is in this context that our party continues to have these concerns regarding Mr. Francois' ability to discharge his duties professionally and the political influence he could exert in the interest of the party he is aligned to. Our party recalls the comments made by the Chief Elections Officer, Mr. Keith Lowenfield, when he articulated that GECOM would only hire professionals and not persons known to be affiliated to political parties. The PPP therefore urges GECOM to re-examine this appointment in an effort to ensure that its own integrity is not compromised as a result. We believe that a profound sense of confidence must prevail with regard to those entrusted with the discharge of duties at GECOM for free and transparent election. Thank you.
Thank you very much, yes. We now open the floor for questions.
This is really quite kind of ideas. You spoke about infractions by the media and Chronicle regulatory body to be set up fast. This morning, Chronicle published a picture on their front page.
What? Publish what?
A picture on their front page of school-age children involved in sexual intercourse.
Of what? I didn't see the papers yet.
You didn't see this?
No. What about? Let me hear what you say.
School-age children. I don't know if you heard about the video that went viral over the weekend and so on, involving 2 school-age children.
No.
But they published a picture of it on their front page. Would you like to comment more specifically?
Well, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the newspapers for the day. So I'm not in a position to comment on what I've not seen. I prefer to see it myself.
But sir, even without you seeing it on a broad scale, how would you react to a media house publishing photographs of school children in compromising position, knowing that one, you're signatory to the Rights of the Child Convention, and 2, knowing that this government said it's going to place great store to protect children at all levels?
As I said, I have not seen...
No, forget that.
No, listen to me, listen. Everything has to be contextualized. You cannot discuss a matter outside of context and without knowing the context in which the story has been written. All that I'm saying, I have not read about this specific incident as yet. I will probably get acquainted with it later on during the course of the day. But as a matter of general principle, let us be careful here with double standards. I have seen time and time again the Kaicho News publishing things like this.
No.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I have seen time and again the Kaicho News publishing matters of this type in the front pages or in the inside of the newspaper. If Kaicho News wishes to deny what I'm saying, they have a newspaper to do so. Don't ask me to name when it happened, who it happened to, and where it happened. We're not on trial here. All that I'm saying that I've seen this. I've seen this. And Kaicho is free to question what I'm saying. I have no difficulty with that. But in my mind's eye, I could remember that time and again. So much so that people have asked, why is this being done? So that would be my answer to you.
That if one does it, then the other one got the right to do it.
I have said that I haven't seen what you're referring to. I haven't seen it. Don't put me online on a judgment call here now and then. I haven't seen, well, I've seen the Starbuck News once. In the past, I've seen them.
Follow up, Mr. Roy. Putting aside this specific incident, with your concerns about the way the media will be going about doing its day-to-day job, would it be a concern to you, or would you be upset if any media house, be it Chronicle, Kaicho News, Starbuck, publish something that will impede on the rights of the child?
Listen, I wouldn't want to comment on a matter
No,
like,
it's moving away
listen
from
to me,
that.
listen to me. These are set-up questions which I would not answer without understanding the context in which I'm answering it. Because I know how it will be spun in sections of the media. So I'm not going to commit myself at this point in time to any generalized question. Let us deal with some specifics here, and based on whatever the specific issue is, and I've acquainted myself with whatever the specific circumstances are, then I will comment on it.
Before we continue, please, let us just stay for the first, at least for the first part, we can focus on the two press statements,
Yes.
and then we can proceed with other questions. Thank you very much.
I wanted to comment on that because, I was reflecting on these press conferences. And what I've noticed is that journalists, some journalists I should say, come here not to deal with the issues that I raise in my press statements, but to deal with other issues where they have an interest in. Right? So I'm glad that the moderator brought us back to the two press statements that I've dealt with. Because I've noticed that some people, they come to raise issues here that they have been asked to raise here by their editors rather than dealing with my statements.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Roy, in relation to Mr. Francois, prior to being employed by GCOM, Mr. Francois was also employed by the Ministry of Education. If he has a right to work in the Ministry of Education, which is the Ministry of the Government, what bars him from being employed at GCOM?
I am sticking to what I said in my press statement. I'm sticking to what I said in my press statement. It's for GCOM to clarify the issue that we're raising in relation to Mr. Francois' employment at GCOM. If Mr. Francois wishes to issue a personal statement clarifying his right to employment at the Ministry of Education or wherever, I wasn't aware of that. You seem to know more than I do. But I wasn't aware of that. I was not aware of that. But the GCOM, I am focusing on Mr. Francois' employment at GCOM. So let GCOM deal with what I've said subsequently.
Sir, could you say when there was a person who was not politically affiliated, appointed anywhere in the government structure, permanent secretaries were supposed to be apolitical, even at GCOM, the the chief elections officer. I don't know what's his political affiliation. Mr. Francois, you say is politically affiliated. I don't know how you know that, whether you've seen his party card, whether you've seen him on a political platform. Don't know.
Well, at least the party has a right to express its views publicly. We have done so. It is now for GCOM to come back and deal with what we have said. Let GCOM deal with it.
Would it be fair to say that you're just throwing everything and it sticks? If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, then that's it. Easy to make allegations, as in the Trotman case, and without any proof.
Easy to make allegations like in the Glenlal versus Glenlal versus Garcia case.
Because the email proved it.
I don't know about that.
If you ask Anil, Anil collect them, and he talked to me. Tell Adam Harris then.
How many things have Kaieteur News not thrown out publicly and they have been denied publicly at the same time?
Nothing. All is accurate.
Okay.
Well, sir, I may be getting away from this thing.
Well, you led us in that direction.
No, I didn't. I'm asking you if you went throwing and you start to advocate your news.
I responded by saying that Kaieteur News is in the habit of throwing things more than anybody else out there. Whether it sticks or not, it doesn't matter to them. But I can tell you this, the PPP is a responsible political party.
Yes.
And we are not in the habit of simply throwing things out there for mischief making. For me to make a statement like this about Mr. Francois, it must have been given very serious consideration.
Then could you say what is Mr. Francois' political affiliation, sir?
That is for Mr. Francois to
No,
clarify. That is, listen to me, hello. Hello. Are you at a press conference? Identify yourself and ask a question. Don't just jump in like that.
I already asked the question.
Well, please, don't be, I think you need to be a little more organized. But what I'm saying is that we have said in our statement what is our view on the matter. Let GCOM and Mr. Francois come out and deny what we have said.
Well, sir, isn't it fair that if you say Mr. Francois is politically aligned, the least you could do is say to which party he's aligned? This is the least you can do.
When you get a copy of our statement, you'll be able to read more carefully. And you will see what we're talking about. Okay?
Well, now, you read everything on here.
Yeah, well, you know, I said that Mr. Francois is known to be associated with the political opposition. Whereas the AFC and the AP used Mr. Francois to clarify that. But again, I'm saying, for the PPP to come out with a statement like the PPP,
Yes.
to come out with a statement like that, we must have given serious thought to what we have in mind before we printed. This is not a political party with a membership that could fit into a Volkswagen.
Will you say that I am politically affiliated?
Adam, don't let's get into that. We'll have to discuss that, you know, probably at another forum, because I think you know me well and I know you well. Any other questions? Any other questions in relation to these two statements?
I missed the first statement. I hear it out of media brightness scrutiny, but it next. But I can't ask you nothing. I didn't tell you.
Okay.
You want to make a monetary unit.
MLU? Nationally?
Why don't you take guidance? Why don't you take guidance from my statement rather than from a colleague journalist? That's what we want.
I didn't see a statement.
I never mentioned anything but a media monitoring unit. You would never find words like that in my statement.
Well, a regulatory.
Media regulatory body.
All right, let's proceed with issues outside of the statement now.
Avina Rockers, Kaieteur News.
Mhm.
Mr. Wilkie, at the last press conference, you told me that you were uncertain whether or not Guyana can hold two elections in 1 year, which would be the local government elections and the general elections.
Mhm.
For the research on my behalf, I found that it can happen, and once local government, if there is a clash between local government elections and general elections, local government elections, general elections would take precedence, and local government elections can be held 3 months later. With that being said, and if your party can clarify that this is the case, would you then be pushing for the elections to come and then get out of the way so that Guyana can move forward?
Well, you said you did your research, but it would be good if you could publish the results of your research.
I published it before.
No, I haven't seen it. But I'd be happy if that research could be published so that we can get the benefit of your research, so we can analyze what you're saying for ourselves. We at this point in time have said that we prepared for any of the 2 elections. One before the other, that's a matter for discussion still that is taking place within our party.
Still outside, sir. Over the weekend, there was... No, I actually done. All right, come on.
No, I'm finished with the question. It's
No,
here.
I have another question. Anyway, go on.
Sorry. Over the weekend, there was a robbery at Blairmont, the Rossignol Chinese. They called the police. Blairmont police station said, we ain't got no men.
No, I'm speaking right now as the General Secretary for the PPP.
Oh,
You're
you ain't
shifting.
no affairs.
You're shifting. Let's deal with PPP General Secretary issues.
I'm seeing chance 7 indicating you want to ask a question.
Mr. Rohini,
Yes,
Mark
proceed.
Capital News. Sir, now that the Speaker has more or less said that the no confidence motion is fit and proper to be debated in the House, is it a matter that has come up now at the PPP level at your executive committee? Is the matter now being discussed? I know before you said it's not a matter that you've really discussed.
I said what?
Level. You had previously said that the no confidence motion is not a matter that was widely discussed at your executive meetings. I'm wondering now that the matter seems to be proceeding, whether discussion has been held or one is planned on what approach the party would take.
Well, it would seem to me that the AFC is trying desperately not to lose out on the no confidence motion. I think the AFC apparently is of the belief that time is moving against them. You see? So they're desperately working very hard to ensure that this no confidence motion finds its rightful place in the National Assembly. From all indications, it's clear that they're desperately trying also to pile on a lot of pressure on the APNU to hold to the no confidence motion commitment. They are at the same time seeking to ensure that the APNU continues with its assurance to support this matter when it comes up in the National Assembly. You know, when Mr. Ramjatan made this public statement about, was it 3 or 4 persons, 3 or 4 Judases, being offered 30 pieces of silver each. And he said it was APNU people. It would appear to me that he probably, that was another means of putting pressure on the APNU, because he probably had some information that somebody in the APNU or a group of people in the APNU were pushing more for local government elections than the no confidence motion. And so he surmised that if there are people in the APNU that are pushing more for local government elections and less for the no confidence motion, he could end up being the loser. So we have to watch how the dynamics of this thing is playing out. And I think the APNU, particularly Mr. Granger, has to be very vigilant that he may have some fifth columnists in his ranks, because I saw a statement issued by Mr. Carl Greenidge recently, which I thought was very indisciplined of him, to be challenging the position taken by the leader of his party, much less the leader of the APNU. I think most of you would have read Greenidge's statement when he said there's nothing to discuss with the government or the ruling party. And he seems to be going off on another limb on his own. So that's why I was making the point that Granger seems to have some fifth columnists in his ranks who have a different view and have no difficulty in publicly saying the differences in views with the leader of the party on this matter. So, as I said earlier, we don't know how this thing will end up. We don't know how this thing will end up. The no confidence motion, that is. But the no confidence motion to me seems to be in a limbo. Seems to be in a limbo. And the PPP is closely monitoring